Got him.
Ba-na-na-na. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Tvshka and Josh.
What's
Josh,
up?
how we doing? What's up, man?
I'm doing
How you
good.
You doing
You
good?
know, it's the end of it's the end of one thing and start of another.
Right?
You know, we made it, as some would say.
We did it, dude. We
We
did it.
we did it. We did the thing.
Yeah.
But
More than our edited videos, we did it.
yeah, for sure. But no, man. I mean, we're ending it here with we're still got football live, even though it's our last of this season's show, and we'll talk about a little bit more towards the end of here. This is called a teaser of what we're going to be doing in replace of this show going forward for the remainder of the Ruckus channel.
Yep.
But some exciting stuff for you all. But stay tuned to the end, and we'll go over that.
Oh, man, you can't tease me like that. Come on now.
Oh, you like being teased? Shut up.
It's true. I like a little good foreplay.
Mm-hmm.
Man, speaking of foreplay or did not play, hey, injuries, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
No.
we're not really going to talk about injuries, but
The Dolphins. That's who's injured.
Ooh, yeah. Well, hey, and the Chiefs' offensive line.
Yeah.
We had to pull Tooney, who's a left guard, over to the right because our backup got injured as well.
Yeah.
So fun times in the end of the season for some
Sam
teams.
Laporta.
Ooh, boy. Did we get a full report of exactly kind of what happened and what that looks like for him?
Hyperextended bruise something.
Knee or-
So they're going to try and go. Obviously, he's going to try and go, but
yeah,
that's going to be tough.
Yeah. You hate that for them because I mean they had a lot of hope going into the year, and then at the beginning of the year knocking off the Chiefs in the opener, and then marching along, maybe getting screwed by the refs. We'll see. As far as getting into the playoffs, but then yeah, I mean that's the biggest really screw job there is Laporta getting injured.
But the Lions did set a record going into the playoffs.
There we go.
They ticket sales for a wild card game is averaging right now just to get in the game is $610 a ticket.
Wow, for the Lions, who probably
Lions.
You had to pay people to go last year or the year before.
It's kind of like they haven't hosted a playoff game since 1993.
Yeah,
so it's literally been 30 years since they've hosted a playoff game. They've been in a couple. One, the referee screwed them over, but they still, this is the first time that they've hosted in quite some time, which I joked about. It's like, come on, Detroit, act like you've been there before.
I'm gonna fix my lighting. Don't take me off the screen.
Okay, we're not. But yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see kind of going forward how the playoffs in the NFL kind of play out. I'm expecting Dallas to win because that's the fan that I am. So therefore, I'm hoping they proceed and do accordingly. I just don't think anyone's going to beat the Lions. I mean, not the Lions, but the Niners out of the NFC. And who really knows? I mean, the Ravens do look unstoppable, but they are taking about basically 3 weeks off. So we'll see just how quote unquote rusty they really are.
Yeah. Ravens have looked extremely well, but they also were a little bit battered. Kind of their mid-season and probably going to the end of it. So who knows who they're going to get back? Maybe off of IR, or at the very least, just the people that have been carrying the load the whole season, maybe getting a little bit of rest. I'm excited to see Pacheco off of our mini bye, since they sat a lot of the starters in the game yesterday. I'm excited to see Pacheco run all over that battered Miami Dolphins defense.
Yeah, and then you've got the Ravens signing Dalvin Cook.
I did not hear that. Do tell. Spill the beans, girlfriend. Come on, what you got?
Well, he requested his release from the Jets. That therefore because he basically wasn't doing anything for him. It was the Breece Hall show, and that the rookie out of Pitt. I can't pronounce his last name, but they basically were running those two, and so Dalvin wasn't really doing anything. But he signed for the Jets thinking that they were going to be a contender,
Mm-hmm.
and then they weren't because Aaron Rodgers tore his Achilles in 2 seconds.
Well, and then they decided to stick with old boy Wilson the whole time,
instead of signing a veteran or a Joe Flacco for all purposes.
Dude, could you imagine?
Now, granted, he was on the Jets before and it didn't work out, but just saying, hindsight's 20/20 on that.
But Flacco's been on every team and it didn't work out, and then now at the ripe age of 41. I mean, it's working.
Yeah.
So
and now people are saying that it's between him and Damar Hamlin for comeback player of the year. I was like, all right, so let me get this straight. You're going to a guy that died and came back to life, that was resuscitated on the field. I don't know, man. This other guy came in at 41 and threw 3 touchdowns. I think that's a bigger. Come on. What are you doing? What are we doing?
Well, I mean, no offense, but Hamlin did get his flowers last year. I mean, he got a lot of love, a lot of attention, as he should have. I mean, rightfully so. But also at the same time, dude, it's America, bro. We're short-sighted. We don't remember what happened, last week, let alone yesterday. So, what have you done for me lately, Hamlin?
Right.
What have you done for me lately, kind of thing. But
die again. That's what he did for you lately.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Oh man. Okay. Anything else on this depressing injuries?
No. Let me see.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. No, I mean, I did have something, and then we started talking about Damar Hamlin. So
Ravens,
and also this
Cook.
Might be the last
Jets,
because Derrick Henry basically after the game thanked Tennessee for a wonderful 8 years and all that stuff. So, and his contract's up, and if they were going to trade him, they probably would have done it earlier. That's why people kept throwing out there that Derrick Henry could be traded. That was thrown around, and he just never was. And there's no point. Tennessee can't trade him because your contract's up, and he's not going to renew it. So he's going to see who's going to sign with. Everyone's throwing out there, obviously, the Cowboys, the Ravens, but it's the offseason. He might end up on the Carolina Panthers for all we know.
I hope for his sake, no. He could also end up on the Kansas City Chiefs. We would love to have a veteran running back who is our short yardage. So that way we don't have to rely on Pacheco and his skinny legs trying to get a tush push. Because McKinnon and CEH, I believe they may be going elsewhere. Just because McKinnon's getting a little bit older. But we would love to have that veteran status. But I do have one more injury to add. It's not a physical injury. It's more of emotional and maybe severe butt hurtedness. Not for you, but for the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons, baby. He's gone. Hit the celebration music. I got it because I know which one I want to play. Hey! Falcons out! Hey! Go. That's it.
Losing their jobs, but don't think I did have a little smirk. That's what you get for not playing
dude, for not playing your players. I mean,
not playing your players.
And then also lying to the league, lying to the press. And then your walk-off is you cussing out the opposing coach for scoring a touchdown on your ass.
To give the New Orleans coach the benefit of the doubt, he didn't know they were going to do that either.
Yeah, he didn't. James Winston knew.
I
don't know if Taysom Hill knew because
no one knew
too, or surprised after.
Anyway, but yes, So far, Arthur Smith, Chargers head coaching vacancy, Carolina Panthers head coaching vacancy, which they are thinking that the Lions offensive coordinator is that's who Carolina's going to go after. Harbaugh has been mentioned with the Raiders and the Chargers, so we'll see what happens there. And they really haven't said anything about Vrabel, but
Vrabel possibly Patriots.
But Vrabel possibly Patriots, as far as because when the headlines I'm seeing is either he either just takes the job, trade, something of that nature, to where they realize that they can't. Vrabel shouldn't be fired because they know he's just going to go to another team and that's it. So they're going to try and get something for Vrabel. Head coaches can be traded. I don't know in the NFL we've ever seen it. It has been done in the NBA though.
Yep. And their salary cap can be picked up for an extreme amount. Just ask the Denver Broncos,
Yeah.
who paid the debt to the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah.
For,
So that's about the closest
Coach
we've come to a
Payton.
trade,
Yeah.
even though it wasn't a trade. It was weird.
Yeah,
on
that
how-
really
how
was
the-
weird because they did
Yeah.
draft picks too, right?
Yeah, they did some
Yeah.
things, but it wasn't like a trade. It
For
was weird.
compensation. Yeah.
Anyway, but no one's ready for March Madness because Louisville sucks at basketball. So I've blacked out until March Madness rolls around.
Okay, rough, man. Well, apparently our friend Chris the Gift Taylor is in there. But okay, so out of those teams, I mean, I know we're going to get to the top 10 here real quick because we're at 10 minutes, but out of the openings, how would you rank? Like, where is the ideal location? To me, it feels like Chargers, Raiders maybe at the top. And then you have, honestly, I would say Atlanta's up there. The Panthers, definitely not. And then the Titans, Tennessee Titans. I mean, is that a good location? And then are there any other vacancies, possibly the Patriots, but any other vacancies that we haven't really talked about that you see as good options for coaches? And then what would you rank that at?
One team has Justin Herbert. The other teams don't. So if I'm Harbaugh, which I think he, at this point, unless he just is too egotistical and screws up relationship, he's going to go to the Chargers because they have Justin Herbert. They have a solid roster. Now, Bosa can't stay. I mean, that defense has the pieces. That's the thing. These past two coaches, the team has had the pieces. They just haven't had the coach or the staff to make them competent, or at least be able to put together something that works. And then Justin Herbert's been getting the blame for it, which I don't think is warranted for that. So I would say them. The Raiders, I think, should just stick with Antonio Pierce, but that owner just is dumb on that stuff. Like, I don't know what else he has to prove. He just kind of is a Vrabel style coach, and you've got Max Crosby signed up. You can get a quarterback. This quarterback draft is really nice, so you can get through there. Washington is available, but I think that's a Belichick destination. I still think that. With that, they haven't said anything. They haven't come out anything with the Patriots. Like I said, they haven't come out anything with Tennessee. I think with Vrabel, either he goes to the Patriots or he's with Tennessee for next year, and then they'll figure it out from there. I mean, people want Washington to hire. I know some people want Bieniemy to be the guy, but he was also the offensive coordinator on the staff, and people take into account. Now, I can't forget the one of the majority owner's name, Josh Payton.
Of the Washington football team, aka the Commanders.
And
I'm not sure.
Magic, I think has a word into it because he's part of that group. But we'll see on there. The Washington again. None of these teams that have vacancies have a quarterback that is Justin Herbert level talent.
What? You don't think AOC is Justin Herbert? He beat the Chiefs, man. You don't think he's Herbert level? I mean, he beat the Chiefs this year. He's beaten the Chiefs more than Herbert has.
I didn't sit there and say that he's not a competent quarterback. He's just not the talent that Justin Herbert is.
Yeah, no, he definitely is not. You can't cut Justin Herbert. I mean, maybe I don't even know if you can give him a haircut. But you're definitely not going to
cut those locks, man.
Yeah,
don't cut those locks. It's flowing. So no, and I've always been high on Herbert. That's why. So yeah. No, as soon as he said AFC, I knew what he was talking about. He tried to trick me.
Gotcha. No. Okay, so a little bit of wrinkle in that, right? So talking about the Raiders, there is a little bit of a Godfather kind of situation. There's been a former GOAT looming around the facilities, right? Kind of flirting with ownership, maybe management. I mean, would that be insane if he had gotten his old coach as far as Belichick? Talking about Tom Brady, kind of being with the Raiders.
That's why that was always thrown out there. But you got to understand, they kind of had a bad breakup to begin with. Tom Brady left because Belichick wanted to go with Garoppolo.
Bubby, money solves it. Winning.
You don't think Washington can pay him anything?
they're going to have to fix their toilets and their shit first.
Davis is still paying everyone else. He has no money left.
Yeah.
That's the problem with the Raiders and why they can get Antonio Pierce.
He's paying all the coaches that he fired for the last 5 years.
He still owes Gruden like $90 million. And then he hired Josh McDaniel, fired him halfway through his second season, and he paid him way too much money. Yeah. He doesn't have any money to pay a high prominent coach. Now, if he goes to and gets out a loan through Las Vegas, aka the mob, then fine, he can make them do that. But he doesn't have any money.
Yeah, you're not wrong on there. So we talked about kind of coaching, talked a little bit about injury, some of the little shifting. Just because it's a hot topic. Miami. Oh, come on now. Miami Dolphin fan Hart is injured. Yeah, just like your defense. Yep.
Hey guys, just so you know, I knew this one coach from last year wore a shirt in practice while he was jamming to some tunes, saying that he likes it colder. Just saying, and he's gonna get his wish because it's gonna be a whole bunch of 12 degrees in Kansas City. Yeah,
10, 13 degrees, and that's probably not even the wind chill. And that open dome, baby, that's no joke as far as with the wind. So yeah, I mean, for kicker's sake, hopefully it's not that windy. But no, I just want one topic, just maybe a couple minutes before we jump to the top 10. As far as changes and maybe things left in the air, Justin Fields, right? The fans chanted his name. We want Fields. We want Fields. Don't know how competent the ownership of the Chicago Bears is. But I mean, do you see Fields sticking around? I mean, I know for your sake, as far as a fantasy owner, not in a dynasty league, but just for this year, you probably want to see him stay in that situation because he did prove dividends, and especially that end of year run. But what do you think, man? I mean, is he sticking to Chicago? Is he going? If he does go, where would be a good spot for him to go to? And would it be the Raiders?
If he goes, it's going to be a second round pick. They're not going to get first round value for him. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to go with Caleb Williams because he seems like a better talent as far as his mobility, stuff like that. As far as reading the defense, he did look a lot better than that. Now, that being said, CJ Stroud was fine for the standard of what CJ Stroud. Justin Fields looked dynamic, but it was the same thing that we had about every Ohio State quarterback until CJ Stroud did his thing this year.
Yeah.
But it was Caleb Williams just looked like Lamar Jackson S. I'm not going to pull a Collinsworth and say anything Patrick Mahomes because when I watch Patrick Mahomes tape at Texas Tech, it was with Cliff Kingsbury. So you really didn't know how good he was. You knew he had the arm strength at the wazoo, which Caleb Williams has. Now they're going to go into a bunch of crap about, his mental, him crying with his mom.
He's a crybaby.
Oh darn, he's emotional. How dare people, get emotional and stuff like that. He's a gamer. It's what he is. So
is he a gamer? Is that why he left Oklahoma? Because he's a gamer? Because he's tough? Because he's a man of his word? Or is he a coward and a mama's boy?
If you could go live in Southern California and not have to pay room and board, I would go there.
No, Southern California can suck it.
Well,
too expensive.
Their cost of living can suck it, but he didn't have to pay shit.
Yeah.
That's the issue.
I know. No, but he was phenomenal. I mean, the year we had him, absolutely phenomenal.
He single-handedly won all the Red River rivalry that game that year because your starting quarterback at the time was not good. He comes in, y'all were down by like 28 or something like that, and he just leads the comeback because Texas didn't know what the hell to do with him, and that was one of the that was one of the best.
No scheme for him. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, there's also, like 50 plus other people on the team, but it's cool. Focus on the one person. That's fine.
I mean, the guy that touches the ball the most out of any one person in the game dictates kind of how it goes. But the
center, I agree. The center dictates the game.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You ready for top 10, baby?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting spicy up in here. We're getting spicy. And it good or bad, really. I mean, spicy is an interesting, but also spicy because I feel like we got quite a bit of heartburn, or at least my heart did. I think Gibbs, with his comment, as far as his Dolphin fan, got heartburn as well. But yeah, man, top 10. Where do you want to start off with, brother?
I want to actually, before we get into the busts and steals, because that can
Yeah.
be subjective. So
Okay.
I will go with my subjective list on who I think the top 10 biggest pickups are.
Yeah.
In that, which in no particular order, but you can kind of figure out where I'm going to go with this. So to me,
Yep.
these are the top 10 best pickups, which means you did not draft them, and they were on the waiver wire before after the draft was done, at least in our league, and this is probably across most leagues as well. So I've got Puka Nakua, who has set the rookie record for most receptions, I believe, in a rookie season. He did that. Watch a video. His mom was crying in the stands when he finally did it.
These
So
crybabies.
it was really good there. Kyron Williams, the running back for the Rams as well. So kind of a theme here. It's kind of weird how the Rams are back in the playoffs again. Raheem Mostert. That's right. So he was not drafted. Devon was, or Devon Achan, how you want to pronounce it. You ask him, it changes a little bit every day. But Devon Achan was not drafted, yet Raheem Mostert was the first person to be picked up by our champion, Daniel Haygood, because I had to go back and look and see to make sure, because I thought I was misreading the draft on there. Nico Collins. I wonder who picked him up, but yes, from the Texans, because no one thought the Texans would be good offensively. Guess what? CJ Stroud's good at football. Speaking of that, CJ Stroud, he was another one that no one drafted because, again, people didn't think the Texans would be good, and CJ Stroud couldn't take tests very well, which that was his quote going into the season is an awesome quote, but man, it could have backfired so bad if he had a bad season. But his quote of, "I don't take tests, I play football." So that was good there.
Well, and he played football very well, and he was also on some of the circuit and the Pat McAfee show. And they're like, well, I guess that test is done because that doesn't prove shit.
Right. So, and a lot of people always said the Wonderlic test, it's like it sometimes correlates and it sometimes doesn't. But most of the time they try to take it to say the Wonderlic, which is it's not. Well, they don't do the Wonderlic anymore. Good joke. They don't do the Wonderlic anymore. So, and I'm going to go to top rookies, just so you know.
I just put it in. Okay, it took me a little bit.
I know, but I'm getting ready. I'm just giving you the thing, and then I'm going to vamp a little bit about the test taking stuff for that. So they don't do the Wonderlic test anymore. They do another test, and CJ Stroud, according to the experts or whoever you want to say, went and just scored terribly. I think Vince Young scored really low on the Wonderlic. Now he was okay in the pros. Don't ask him about his finances because that's a different story. But that's kind of the whole thing. Watch the 30 for 30 going broke. That's the whole thing about professional athletes and how quickly they can lose all their money. After, it's basically shout out to the movie Blank Check. Yeah, that's a deep cut for people that don't know. Nice. But he said you spent $1 million in 6 days. And that was back in 1994. I believe, was when that movie came out. So the dollar was a little bit stronger than it is now, adjusted for inflation and all that fun stuff. So
dollar and shit right now.
CJ Stroud just booted that test, and how people look at it. It's like that Moneyball thing. It's like he's got a small, what? And they're like, why? He goes, he doesn't have any confidence. I'm like, how does that correlate? Does he get on base?
He's got Trump hands.
Right. Does he get on base? Well, Kenny Pickett, what's up? That was a whole, the hands gate.
Yeah, the hands.
Oh God, that was another one. But yeah, no, that was. But the whole thing with CJ Stroud has proven everyone to just shut up, go sit in a corner, and watch the man work, because obviously he knows how to read a defense, how to lead a receiver, and he works well with teammates. Because, shout out to the first year coach out of Houston, which he's the. Sorry.
You're right. You good? You got it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's eluded me. Miko Harmon. Is that right? No, I always say his name, but that's the receiver.
Yeah, Miko Harmon. Yeah.
Well, no, it's Miko Ryan, I believe, or something.
Is it Miko or Nico Ryan?
Miko. I think it's Miko Ryan. But I always say Nicole Hardman because I get with the Miko and stuff. Right. So, yeah. I don't think even drafting. It's the whole with this thing.
Don't wish on anybody. Nobody wants to go to Carolina.
it's the same thing with the whole Lamar Jackson when after his 2019 season when he won the MVP and Baker Mayfield looked like a dumpster fire and all these other players, Josh Allen really hadn't caught fire yet. Josh Rosen was in the dumpster, so they were talking about and Sam Darnold, all these quarterbacks that were taken before Lamar, and they were like, well, so and so should have just drafted Lamar. I think it also has to do with the organization, the coaching staff that you're surrounded by. I don't think Bryce Young is a terrible quarterback. I just think the coaching staff and the ownership, as we know, at least the ownership or POSs, and if you have a POS owner, they're probably not going to. I'm sorry. Bryce Young has the tools. Yes, he's short, but I don't think I'm not going to give up on him yet. But no, CJ Stroud definitely should have been taken by the Panthers. Obviously, hindsight 2020 on that. So I won't go with that. But I just also think it does you have to take into account the leadership and coaching staff that you're on, and also just the team itself. So sometimes, Jared Goff under Steve Fisher looked terrible. Then Sean McVay gets there. They go to a Super Bowl. Now, granted, he's not Matthew Stafford, but he still took the Lions. So it's not like he's it all depends on your situation and what you're around, coupling with the talent. But yes, do I think CJ Stroud? Yes, I think he's definitely a better talent than Bryce Young. But I don't know if you're going to get better results in going to the playoffs with that situation, is what I'm saying. So,
and also
quarterback. I'll put it that way.
And another example is Baker Mayfield there too. Get him into a healthy situation with talent, and then he can be, mid to kind of lower tier as far as quarterback.
Yeah, go put Brock Purdy on the Carolina Panthers. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
It ain't going to work.
Yeah.
So it helps. It helps with the things you're around. Okay. Then moving on to the one Dakota Rain Prescott. That's right. That's his full name. Yeah. So they had him on a podcast once, and they're like, "Does it feel weird that your first and middle name are a porn star?" And he just like moved on from it.
Yeah.
But
you gotta sidestep that for sure.
Yeah. Well, it's part of my take. They're gonna ask that. So anyway, yes, Dakota Prescott, Dak Prescott, as he's now known. Yeah, he's basically going to be probably second or third in the MVP voting. He is balling right now. I never thought I'd say that. He had at the beginning of the season, they asked him about what. Him throwing his picks, and he just says, come back to me if I throw 10 picks this year. And I don't think he did. I think he got below that, but you can look that up because don't quote me, but out there I did see where someone brought that quote up for that. Speaking of Brock Purdy, he's also in the pickup list. Now, he also caused a lot of turmoil for some teams because once you picked up a good quarterback, you also might have had another quarterback that you had to figure out which one to start. Super Bowl Sammy had that situation, and some homeless guy had that situation too, of Brock Purdy or Lamar Jackson. And then Super Bowl Sammy had CJ Stroud or Jalen Hurts. That's a tough decision to make throughout the season because either one are fine, but one's going to probably go off.
Yeah, and that's weird. That reminds me of a video that I saw one time.
Yeah. We can get to that here.
Just don't drink and draft, everybody.
Right. Another one I want to mention here is Jerome Ford, the running back for the Cleveland Browns. Now, granted, no one was going to pick him up, but he ended up being very well as the number one guy once Nick Chubb unfortunately went down with that gruesome knee injury. Get well soon, man. Hope you're back to being Nick Chubb next year. That is something that I hope doesn't
Rest in power, King.
And also, and the last but not least, kickers are people too. Brandon Aubrey he finally missed a 30-yard field goal this past week. He hasn't missed.
He does bleed.
So he had one block, then he also doinked one. So, so Brandon Aubrey is the last of the top pickups that I've got there. Any thoughts on the guys that I've gone over? Or ones that you thought I'll be you for a second. Anyone that I left off the list that comes to mind?
No, because I'm too busy doing your job right now that you should have done. Well,
I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do it.
No, I'm messing with you. As far as top pickups, and it's hard because in the conversations we had over the weekend, this is on the season. and it doesn't always reflect those that came in and saved your day. But one that did, and we'll get to probably more so whenever we get into some of the matchups, is Njoku. Because Njoku won the championship for Mr. Haygood himself. And he had helped me throughout the season as well whenever I picked him up and needed him. And then I dropped him like a hot can of biscuits because I was going with somebody else. I was betrothed to another. And then he goes off and he does great things for other people, which is awesome. So I think Njoku's one worthy of mentioning, even though maybe on the year his season stats maybe didn't reflect that. But in those key moments, and especially at the end of the season, he won some people some championships and some playoff games for sure.
Yeah. Too soon, Jason. Still too soon, but we'll get into that a little bit later with the Jets defense. All right. So we're going to move on to the top rookies, according to me remembering stuff and actually looking over the scores for that. So it's subjective, but it's also not. But that, like I said, there's no like tier or like number one, here's this. But, the top two that I'm going to list do have some similarity. So I do have Kyron Williams, the rookie running back. As far as I know, he's a rookie. It had an R next to his name. So we've got that. And then we've got Puka Nacua, again, it's kind of self-explanatory. But he's not going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year because that's going to go to C.J. Stroud, to me. The other one, Jahmyr Gibbs. That's right. The guy that you should have played the whole damn season, Lions. But, hey, he's healthy at the end of the year, and I guess that's all that matters. I am not doing Bijan Robinson. No, I am not. We're not doing it. He was number 2 under Jahmyr Gibbs, and I decided to leave him off the list because Arthur Smith's a douchebag. So, even though he was number 2 as far as rookie running backs are concerned. So, that's why I'm not putting him on there. I said it's subjective.
Yeah.
And I'm subjectively not liking the fact that Bijan Robinson – Tyler Hargier had more touchdowns than Bijan Robinson.
But Ding Dong the Smith is dead, all right? Yeah. So, let's celebrate a little bit.
Yeah.
Bijan, you're going to be there.
You're going to be fine, man.
Rookie. You're going to make it.
Kyle Pitts, man, you're going to be relevant next year. It's going to be great. So, now the next one I have, obviously, Sam Laporta. The dude was awesome. I hope he's going to be healthy. He was not Laporta Potty, even though that's the only nickname people can remember to give him.
I mean, because it's such a great fit. I mean,
yeah.
Of course, he didn't act that way.
Right.
But he did catch a lot of shit.
Hey. Yeah. Yeah, well, I don't know. Jared Goff didn't throw a lot of lame duck balls, but, he still caught him when he threw him up his way.
No, just catching shit, like shit in general. Just stuff.
Yeah. Okay, no doubt. And then we have Rashee Rice. Just finally, Patrick Mahomes found someone that could catch the ball.
Yeah. Well, but Rashee Rice is not without his drops.
Right.
Let's be fair.
Right.
Everybody
for sure.
And then balls.
Yeah, and speaking of that, Zay Flowers, when he does catch the ball, he's really good on that. Brandon Aubrey, he is a rookie. It's kind of crazy. He basically didn't even know what football was about a year ago. He's a pretty awesome now. And then I have Devon Achane on here too. Now there's a couple of ones. Jordan Addison, he was great at the beginning of the season. Tank Dell, if he would have finished the season, he probably would have been on this list as well. Yes, I could have included Bijan Robinson, but I'm not because I'm spiteful right now. So just deal with it.
Salty, man. Salty.
Oh yeah, totally. There's total bias on why I left him off the list. There's no other reason.
But it's not his fault. Don't blame the guy.
No, it's not Bijan's fault. Bijan is going to be amazing next year, along with Jahmyr Gibbs. They're going to be at the top of draft boards because maybe they might have a competent coaching staff next year. But we shall see it.
Well, they may have the sophomore slump.
Yeah, I do like Atlanta's owner. I don't know why. I always thought that he had a decent, he wasn't over, he wasn't Jerry Jones, but he wasn't douchebag Panthers coach, Panthers, ownership. He seemed to be competent in letting his guys do his thing, and he seems Arthur Blank. I think that was his name. I think it's his name. Anyway. Yeah, so I think he's going to make a solid hire. I don't know who it would be. We haven't heard anything. We just know that the guy who is the fantasy Grinch is gone. So his heart never grew 3 sizes too big.
All right, bud. Let's keep rocking and rolling. Let's make up for lost time. Top steals, what you got?
Top steals. Grindingly enough, CeeDee Lamb. He went from basically he scored more than he was projected. So basically, the way the steals work is they were scored more than they were projected. So we got CeeDee Lamb, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, even Trevor Lawrence. Yes, Trevor Lawrence, based on where he was drafted and what his projections were, he technically was deemed a steal. It's kind of crazy, even the fact that he kind of crapped in his big boy pants at the end of the season.
Yeah, couldn't steal any wins there to get into the playoffs.
No. Rachaad White, yes. Someone did not start him until it was too late. But yes, he definitely was a steal, along with his teammate Mike Evans. Who knew? The guy just gets his 1,000 yards a season. It's no big deal.
Like 10 years in a row.
Right. I keep saying Dakota now. Dak Prescott, Michael Pittman, and Geno Smith. So a lot of quarterback heavies, but that's the thing with quarterbacks. They get drafted late, therefore their projections are low, and then they overperform, and that's kind of what happens. Other steals, obviously, there's rookies that you shot for and scored with on there. The Devon Achane was definitely a steal if you think about it. Yeah. Jahmyr Gibbs was basically taken where he scored at the end of the season, where he was projected on that. So really and truly, there wasn't really any big time that I can think of off the top of my head that were drafted late that ended up being championship winners, other than just making sure you started the right guys at the right time. But everybody was drafted, because I even looked up where Amari Cooper was, because Amari Cooper had a really good last half of the season. He was drafted about where you would expect him to be for his production was. So I kind of went through. It wasn't this was statistic based, but also we're just thinking just subjectively, certain players that outperformed in my eyes. And then I looked at their draft position, and I was like, no, they pretty much did exactly what you thought they would. Maybe Adam Thielen for being able to still catch. That was a steal for the first 3 games.
Yeah, but it's also on the season, though. So that's where you have it felt like there was a multitude throughout the whole season of these 3-4 game runs by somebody, and then they just drop off the face of the earth. And that's where I would say Geno Smith gets an asterisk. Because he didn't really show up late in the season. So he probably lost people some games if they were relying on him, because the Seahawks in general, sorry for that trade with Tyler Lockett there, Giff. I don't think he helped out too much in that final game for you. But and Lamar Jackson, that's to me the crazy part is that he is one of the top on the season. But even week to week, it wasn't what you really needed. It was 15 points, 10 points, 8 points, and then a 40 burger whenever you bench him. And then it's back to 10 points whenever you pick him back up. So that's where it's like, you definitely have to have a little bit of what's I'm looking for. Basically just context, kind of whenever you're looking at some of these. But again, these are on the whole year, everybody. So let us know somebody that you thought that maybe we missed, or somebody that shouldn't be on there, like Geno Smith with an asterisk, or
Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, or Trevor Lawrence.
This was the statistics that were shown out to me, and I was like, all right, fine, this is what we're going to go with, based off of computers. So, and we know that computers can't draft, even though it almost won me a best ball league. Yeah,
and these are the top busters, but I call them the bottom busters.
Right, and what some of these do have asterisks because they just got hurt. And so that's what it is. Justin Jefferson, hurt. Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift. No,
and hurt.
And hurt. Josh, and some of these guys ended up actually scoring for their position very well. Like Travis Kelce still was in the top 10. But this again, project for what he was drafted. He was a number one. He's pretty much a predominantly first round draft pick. He did not perform first round draft pick numbers. He did not do that. Anybody that's followed not even look at statistics knew that Travis Kelce was just having a down year. It was eventually going to happen. He's been doing this for 4 years straight, which feels like. So, it was eventually, unfortunately, going to happen.
Didn't even hit 1,000 yards on the season, but still was one of the top producing tight ends.
Yes.
So that's where, it's a tight end position. So you got to kind of weigh that up.
Right. Josh Jacobs hurt, but also didn't do. He was.
They didn't know what to do with him.
Well, and he also had one of those years where he shows the talent, but can he do it again consistently that he did last year? And yeah, sometimes lightning doesn't strike twice. It just
And and also you had the ineptitude of
Josh McDaniel.
So I mean that really hurt them for the first half of the season. And then whenever he was able to kind of get free a little bit, then he got injured, and Zamir White stepped up, and that may be a pretty good pickup. May not even be a draftable person as far as maybe just waiting for the waiver wires for that guy, but he's gonna be good. Yeah.
So, it just depends on its schemes and coaching staff, and they'll figure that out later. But yeah, people are going to be like, "Oh, Zamir White," and then the season starts and you never hear his name, and he gets traded to somebody else and gets buried in the roster because that happens sometimes. Derrick Henry, Austin Eckler. Sorry, Austin Eckler, injured. Coaching staff, but mainly just injured. I mean, it was only a matter of time. The guy was the number 1, number 2 running back in the top 5 for the past 3 years. Eventually he was going to get injured or something just because of time on that. Derrick Henry, speaking about time, it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah. Right.
It just takes a while for him to get going. It is just, his acceleration is just gone. As far as being able to get, like, he's more Bowser in Mario Kart now than he was Toad at the beginning. Just shout out to Mario Kart if you get that reference.
He was not a Toad though, dude. That dude was a Donkey Kong.
Maybe a Yoshi.
No, dude. Yoshi's a bitch too. No, Donkey Kong.
I'm talking about acceleration. Like
I know, but Donkey Kong's fast, but he's big. Now he's just slow like Bowser. But yeah, dude. Because I mean, that guy was a wrecking ball. Yeah, just tearing through and stiff arming defenses.
Wario.
Wario? Okay,
Wario. I mean, he's an OG N64 Mario Kart player. So
heck yeah, he is.
And that's the one I use the most. That's the only reason I don't. Shout out to Wario. He was my favorite character. He was my character that I used.
Not Waluigi.
I mean, sorry, no, Waluigi wasn't in the original. You almost threw me off. Almost confused me. Anyway, end of Mario Kart rant.
Yeah. Speaking of a Mario Kart name, Cooper Cup.
Yeah, Cooper Cup. There was a Star Cup, the Mushroom Cup, and then the Cooper Cup.
And then the Cooper Cup.
Yeah, let's go. The Koopa. Let's go to the sideline. All right.
Cooper Troopers.
Yeah, so the Cooper Troopers were definitely sidelined this year. He still is yet. They had to ship his hamstring off to Madagascar to figure out what the heck was wrong with it. They literally had to go see some random specialist to figure out what is going on. So that unfortunately, as a person who drafted him, and that's the thing. Again, Cooper Cup was, of course, Puka Nacua did hurt his numbers going forward on that. And then next, Nick Chubb injured on that. Saquon Barkley, this was the weirdest one because he played pretty much all season. He was banged up. But I put this as he doesn't like the team that he plays on. So therefore he's just, not going to be very well. And plus the Giants were up and down all season on that. And then the last one was Jamar Chase, injuries and kind of being a diva at the end of the season. And Joe Burrow on that, because I mean, he's like, I'm open every single time. And then at the end of the season, they're asking about if T. Higgins is going to be there. He goes, depends on how much is left over, talking about his contracts. I'm like, okay. I mean, at least he's truthful and straightforward. I mean, that's truth. Like, I would want Jamar Chase on my team than T. Higgins on there. As far as busts are concerned, T. Higgins could be on this list on that. So basically any Bengals wide receiver. But Joe Mixon was not a bust. He was not a bust.
Right, because he's running back. I mean, a lot of them were busts because Burrow, was injured for a good portion of the season. Even though Browning did a pretty remarkable job stepping in, still not enough, and definitely, not equal to Burrow.
But was a top 10 receiver, but also was a bust. Is your boy Stephon Diggs?
Yeah, definitely was.
Yeah,
Stephon, dig me a effing grave, man.
Yeah. But he's excited to be on the team because they're in the playoffs and 4 more games. It's like, all right, whatever.
Oh, just wait. I mean, for the moment they lose, you're going to see that relationship blow up.
Oh yeah, for sure. Or it's going to be the thing of you're the fantasy owner and he's done nothing, and then he gets to the playoffs and it's like 3 touchdowns every single game. Yeah. 200 yards receiving.
He's the new Gabe Davis.
Yeah. Well, Gabe did get hurt, so I don't think you're going to see Gabe for the rest of the playoffs.
I know, that's why he's the new Gabe Davis.
Yeah. And then the last one I have on here is Jonathan Taylor, which he missed the first few. He was on IR, so he missed the first, again, injuries and contract stuff. And most of the time when you miss your whole offseason when you're a running back, go way back to the Chris Johnson days where at least running backs, or Ezekiel Elliott, where his running backs hold out. I don't care if he was injured. They hold out. They don't go all the training camp. They don't get the rust knocked off, this game speed, all that stuff. It takes them a while to get going. And then you have a Zach Moss who was performing well this year. And so, he just never, he was okay, but he never was up to what people were drafting him. He was on my do not draft list as it was, and kind of showed true on that. But those are the busts that I have off the top of my head, and the Cincinnati Bengals. Also, basically, if you had any of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah. Okay, motherfucker. Look,
we talked about this last night. You know I'm going to bring it up.
You mentioned it. Okay, but that's absolutely it's correct. It's correct. Yeah.
And it hurt me to say. That's why I said it I said it, because I can't believe I'm saying it, but it's true.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and it's very, very true. But at the same time, you got to look at the context within that situation. It's because they're not putting 40 points up this year. They did it one time, but they're definitely not doing consistent like they used to. And I think with kind of like some of the the fantasy busts, it's not a matter of that they didn't produce. It's just they didn't produce to the level that you thought they would be, or that you drafted them. And they were severely down, but also across the league, scoring was down. So it was just kind of a bust year for the NFL. You had so many injuries, kind of creating basically a lot of tilts and fantasy teams, and people scrambling to pick up quarterbacks. And so, it was definitely a mess of a year. And it was also a mess of a year for our matches, man. Right? So we're going to go through some of the top matches of the league. And we're not going to go into too much detail as far as exactly, kind of what happened. But kind of first up is we have, we don't got to talk about this one, do we?
Yeah, you brought it up.
Okay. Well, I apparently forgot to put it in the deal there. Anyways, some homeless guy versus Tar Heel for life. Definitely competitive for a match of the year. 106.26 to 112.08. So, 6-point difference. That difference being the goddamn Jets defense and special teams people. When you're watching matches, make sure you pay attention to who has the special teams. Because even though the defense is, shitting bricks and in overtime, that return touchdown that we were excited about, because for one, it was the end of the game. That was already a long-ass game. It was exciting just to see it, too, because it was a very good run. But then, quickly, absolutely broke my heart in that manner.
Yeah.
But,
Shout out to the young Sprouse twins at the time and Big Daddy to explain why Tvshka lost the match. The goddamn Jets.
Yep, the goddamn Jets. That is very true.
Well, he says the whole thing, but I just don't like saying it that way. So
yeah, that's right. That's right. I'll cuss enough for both of us.
All right.
But anything on that match before we go into yours, bud?
No, that was that. It sucks that it happened to you, but as the person that it didn't happen to, that was here live to experience it, it was awesome.
Yeah. Enjoy it, folks. You can watch the short on our channel there at Ruckus EV. You can watch basically my complete meltdown and the start of the year for me.
If you wonder why Tvshka went tilt real early, watch the video.
Yeah. And speaking of tilt, or not necessarily tilt, basically just a bust happened for you, unfortunately. The Soulful Hilltoppers against Super Bowl Sammy in week 2, 152.74 to 157.72. Good Lord. I mean, almost 5 points on the dot. And we have down here, don't hurt yourself. That's just a good statement for anybody who is having, kind of trouble in their life. Be safe. But also, Jalen Hurts did not help you one bit. Being subpar performance in that match.
No. just Jalen, and I could not find a good. This was back when. This was also don't put the wrong guys on the field, because this was back when Justin Fields was in hibernation still with the Bears, and Jalen Hurts was fine. So yes, didn't help us. This is me sulking. Sorry. If you want to be part of this, the sulking, you can. So I don't care. But no,
she'll be the sulking.
Hilltoppers.
Sulking.
The sulking Hilltoppers.
Sulking.
There you go.
Yeah.
So
anything else on that one?
No, it came down to the fact that Rasheed White didn't do anything, but I was Bijan Robinson didn't do shit.
Yeah, Bijan Robin didn't do shit for sure. Also, this guy did shit though. Raheem Mostert, man, good lord, tall, hurtful life. Defeated the Shriners 154.26 to 151.72. And Raheem Mostert, I believe this is the one where he went off for almost like 40 points. It's not over 40 points. And whenever your opponent does that, there's not a whole lot you can do.
No.
I mean, you'd have to have basically all your people scoring 20 points just to kind of compensate. And that definitely made the difference, because if he had just gotten one less touchdown, then we would have been singing a different story as far as who was undefeated at that time. But yeah, and then anything on that one before we jump?
I mean, just
good
waiver wires, guys. That's why you gotta figure out the matchups, and sometimes listen to our show. Sometimes we shoot the shit and don't say anything. So it happens. But most of the time, we try and give you the best knowledge we can without helping you out at the same time. It's kind of a weird thing to do.
Yeah, it's a little counterproductive at our detriment sometimes, but continuing on to your detriment, actually. No, not your detriment, because you won this one. Hopefully Hilltoppers versus Shriners. Sorry, Shriners, going back to back on that, but 143.18 to 141.26, and there's the Field of Dreams, but this one, dream of Fields, because Fields show up for you on this one.
Yeah, this was the one where you kept bringing up the hibernation comment that I did.
Yep.
Which is this one of those things where I was talking
about.
I
still gotta get those receipts. It's in a filing cabinet. I'll get it.
Yeah. Me saying that, which I say no, I didn't say anything about Justin Fields, because I said this was the Denver Broncos game, I believe. I said, all right, this is the one. If he's going to do something, it's going to be this one, and it shows me that he was worth sticking with for the rest of the season, which also was a detriment, because
yeah,
he was like the less Lamar Jackson-esque type of player, because he could go off for a 40 burger and then he can do Lamar didn't do nothing though. That's the only thing, is he did go off. He only did like 8 points this one game, but everyone kind of does
8 points, maybe 5 on another.
Right. But Mahomes did that too this year.
Oh yeah.
So it is what it is on that. But he either went bang or bust. He was no in between. So that I saw most of the time. So that was the issue with Justin Fields. But this is why you draft a running quarterback. It's because he might be on an incompetent team, but he's still going to be drafted in most leagues, because people are going to take a shot at him because he is a running quarterback.
Well, it's a good thing we did our notes yesterday, because we can't access the data anymore as far as for our league. But phrasing, there we go. Yeah.
You can. I can bring it up. I know how to do that.
I like to bang busts. But who else probably does? Gift Taylor, Blackpool Combat Club against Saquon Barkinsdale. 133.64, and Team Saquon takes this one with 136.64. Literally 3 points on the dot. I mean, you can't really get that much closer. And this one is because somebody cooped their pants, bro. Cooper Kupp busted in this one. He started off on an injury, right? Beginning of the year. So this probably maybe him coming back and just not being at basically just kind of full capacity. But that was the trade also. That was after the trade. And hopefully he got his worth out of it and some of the other matches. But that weekend, it just definitely didn't do. But continuing on the next week, Super Bowl Sammy versus Alave Garden, 146.94 to 148.88. We're highlighting these matches because these are the closest ones on the year. Because it also shows that A lot of these are the playoff teams. So it's this margin of victory for them. So it's not necessarily bad teams. It could just be a bad week or a bad player and or a bad move. And in this one, Super Bowl Sammy did not play Cortland Sutton, who went off for 24 points. So sitting Sutton was the wrong choice, unfortunately. And we only know those in hindsight. I mean, because you look at those matchups, and it's just like, yeah, how am I going to play this guy, over Gibbs or somebody who's going off, and then that person shits the bed, gives you a goose egg, while the person on the bench could have been your unsung hero. But speaking of unsung heroes, oh no, it's not that match. This is a different one. Dak Lives Matter against Olave Garden, 135.10 to 140.38. And this was a case of the buys. This is by the wayside, is what we called this one. Unfortunately, Dak Lives Matter played the best he could, but he had 4 or 5 players on bye, and those were the breadwinners the week before. So, unfortunately, yeah, I mean, a 5-point difference in that game. Then we have Dak Lives Matter versus Super Bowl Sammy. This one's another Hurts donut because 148.04 to 143.68. Another tight one there within 5 points. And I mean, again, this just shows how close a lot of this is. This one I really loved kind of seeing because, it brought up the Njoku. Are you in joking? Right? Because Saquon Barksdale defeats Dak Lives Matter 131.06 to 126.5. And the big key was the day before. So on Wednesday on the waiver, he picked up Njoku, and Njoku got him, I believe, 35 points on this one, and made the difference, won the match, and that's what also gets him into the second round of the playoffs, where he went on to defeat Jason. And then in the Super Bowl, I kind of wish we almost did a watch along because this sucker went back and forth.
It did.
Team Saquon Barksdale versus Super Bowl Sammy for the championship, 183.08 to 172.18. So a little bit of a bigger margin, being 9 points, or 11 points. But Gibbs me a break. Gibbs just did not show up at all for Super Bowl Sammy, and that was kind of the difference because everybody was scoring 15, 20 points. I mean, it was very high scoring match. But with the Thursday game, the Saturday games, and the Sunday games, and then no Monday games on that week, right?
Also, Christian McCaffrey getting dinged up in the first half.
Yeah, McCaffrey because I think he only got like 13 or 15 points.
Yeah,
for him on
that one. He was on his way to being the captain of the year. But he definitely was the fantasy MVP of this year. There was no doubt about that.
Hands down.
So it just
and the best white player in the NFL.
Hey, TJ Watt's really good.
Yeah, dude, TJ Watt's is good.
Bosa on the 49ers and Max Crosby. Those are the ones that come to mind.
But yeah, man. I mean, it was an absolutely great match there. But even though those were the closest ones, there's one match that sticks out, man. You want to kind of talk about that match?
Which one?
I mean, it's the match of the year. Oh man, you don't know? No. You don't know the match of the year?
No.
Jason, can you tell us in the chat what the match of the year is? And why? Why you lost?
I know what it is now.
Why you lost to 4 bye players, dude? And you didn't lose a little bit. You lost a lot of it. We just went through the closest matches. This one was like 20-point walloping with no players, bro. No players. Good God. Come on. Be better at life.
Yeah, it's his fault that he was the most unlucky person I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
That's the one, as much as crap we give Jason based off of envy, this is the one where you felt bad.
Seriously.
Okay, this is the one where you're just like, you get on the other person for not fielding a roster, and then they end up winning, and you're just like, what did I do? What did I do?
Yeah, I can't remember. I don't think we had him on the show that night, so maybe it's like a hangout the night prior. But yeah, I mean, it was just like he's like, am I really going to lose this to someone would buy. It's like, oh my God, you really are.
Yeah, he's put. I remember him posting in the chat, and I could just feel his pain through the words that I was reading.
Right. Yeah, because again, hindsight. I mean, you do the research, you draft, you look at the matchups, you look at the buys. He did the right thing, and he may have did the only thing he could have done with it being that buy apocalypse that week.
It was like reading Edgar Allan Poe's. Like you could just feel the heartbreak in the words.
Dude. Yeah, you could hear a crow in the background as well. But but that is the match of the year. I don't have the stats on me, but yeah, I mean it was like probably like what 140 to 120 or something like that. It was a pretty good chunk, but an absolutely impressive win. Of course, having Christian McCaffrey really helps out, and some of the other big players that he had that was getting him 20, 30 points.
I got it.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. Yeah.
So he had Jalen Hurts. These are the only players that they had played. Jalen Hurts went for 25.88. DK Metcalf went for 6.
Oh. Okay.
Terry McLaurin went for 12.3. Deontay Johnson.
Oh, that's right.
Catch a touchdown all last year.
Yeah.
22. He went for 7 for 9, 90 and a touchdown.
Yeah. His only good game of the season.
CeeDee Lamb with 28.10. And then the Los Angeles effing Chargers went for 30.
Yeah. Yeah. Who did the Chargers play on that? Was that the Raiders?
The gosh dang Jets.
Oh,
so
Jets.
Just when you think the Jets are your best friend, they come back and bite you in the butt.
That's right. That's right, mother lover.
That's that. Yeah, he had of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people you're supposed to start. He had 1, 2, 3, 4. So he only had 5 players out of 9 that he played, and he still won over Joe Burrow, Raheem Mostert, Jonathan Taylor, Mike Evans, DJ Moore, Travis Kelce, Michael Thomas, Devontae Smith, Brandon Aubrey, and the gosh dang Jets.
Oh, the rookies.
Yeah.
What was the point total?
And he didn't lose by like 6. He lost 105 to 124.
Okay, yeah, there we go. Yeah, I knew it was around 20 points. Yeah. Oh man, and that's rough. I mean, we feel thoughts and prayers to you.
Yeah,
Jason.
And luck is a matter of luck, and also the weather outside of weather. Just so you all know,
weather outside.
Luck is a matter of luck, and the weather outside is weather.
Yep. Horseshoes and hand grenades. But yeah, man. Anything else to wrap up top 10 before we move on to the wild card?
No.
Yeah.
That's it.
I think that's it too. Cool. We're done.
Covered there.
Later. That's right, folks. And what do we got for the wild card, bud?
Just trades. They did happen.
Trades?
Who lost? Who won?
Trades?
Who didn't do anything?
Yeah. Pretty much everybody except people. Yeah.
4 teams.
Yep.
One was one. Oh no. We okay. So the first one was Tar Heel for life, and Saquon, and our champion Saquon Barkinsdale did Jonathan Taylor for Travis Etienne. Tar Heel for life gets Jonathan Taylor. Saquon Barkinsdale gets Travis Etienne.
Yep. They snuck that trade on us too.
Yeah. Because I was still learning the program.
Right. Yeah.
The next one, when I realized how to work the program, was the Sulphur Hilltoppers and the Blackpool Combat Club, when I traded Puka Nacua for DeAndre Swift, which was a good trade at the time, but then I got pushed out of scoring any points for DeAndre Swift, and Puka Nacua was great. I said we. Did I not say we? All right, whatever. I'm sorry. So that happened there. And then the last one was some homeless guy, whoever he is, traded with Blackpool Combat Club, trend here. Dalton, you received Dalton Kincaid, and he received Tyler Lockett, which...
Yep.
So I would say, I guess... I don't know who would you... Did you think you won that trade or no?
I think that was a trade-off, I mean, honestly. Because so what that did for me was I had Njoku as well. The big question was Waller. I had Waller on IR. They said 4 weeks, and that's a little bit before that. Kind of maybe the second week. That's when we did the trade, and I think Lockett worked out pretty well for him. There was some missed games definitely at the end. I don't think he helped too much in the playoffs, but the situation for me kind of shoehorned me because I had a tight end on IR coming back. I had a tight end that I traded for, and then I had a tight end that I picked up. So for me, like I had investment in the trade and investment in the IR player that I was kind of waiting on. And I think that really was a little bit of a difference maker, because if I had Njoku during the playoff run there towards the end, we may be talking about a little bit of a different story, because he went off 30 points and 20 points pretty frequently the last 3 or 4 games with Flacco, really feeding him the rock. But also Kincaid, whenever Knox came back, I knew that was going to happen. But that's where I was thinking, okay, cool. Kincaid is going to fade off in 4 weeks. I'm going to get Waller back. Well, we never really got Waller back, did we? Right. Ended up having to drop Waller so I could make room for other pickups and priorities. And so the trade kind of got me into a little bit of a corner. But at the same time, I mean, it's hard whenever you have investment, because I mean, especially like the draft investment early on in the year. You feel like, hey, I picked these players. I need to give them at least a couple of weeks to prove themselves, instead of just kind of dropping willy nilly. But yeah, GIF in the chat. Tell us, man, what do you think? Yeah, Puka saved you a few times this year, so we
definitely lost that trade for sure. It was between when you draft Cooper Kupp, he's on IR, and then you immediately pick up Puka Nacua, and he goes off. You have a dilemma of you can't start both of them. So you had to trade one. And I literally asked multiple people.
Same time. Don't break eye contact.
Just don't eat the cookie. But yeah. So yeah, and if you would have traded away, hindsight's 2020. If I would have traded away Cooper Kupp and to you, we would have traded away Cooper Kupp to you and kept Puka Nacua, yes, we probably would have made the playoffs, and GIF would have been left on the outside looking in. And if, again, it's more the Rashad White as well. Hey, Justin, on that. So GIF definitely won that trade at the end. And obviously, if Jason is still in the chat, I think Travis Etienne, based off of just ending stats, won that trade over him, even though Jonathan Taylor was okay for the rest of the season.
Yeah. Taylor really came through in the last couple of games. I think he came through probably a week late, because it was after Jason had lost to Haygood. And so he'd been relegated, or basically just kind of, playing for the third spot. And that's whenever Taylor showed up, because Taylor showed up this past weekend as well. Yeah. It looks like
last play.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and with Zach Moss, I mean, it just seems like whenever they had the healthy tandem,
right,
they figured out their stride that they probably had wanted all year long, but unfortunately just couldn't get. But yeah, I mean, ETN, I mean, he was going off quite a bit. Yeah. But those are only 3 trades, man.
Yep. That's the wild card. 3 trades. But hey, guys, if don't tilt, and we want to make sure, but all trades were good. Now that we know how we're going to do it in the future, we're going to still keep the same thing as if you don't respond, or if somebody does. Most of the time, I will only bring it up if I think it's just we just think it's a straight up, no, there's no way, this makes no sense type of thing. So, but that's our trades.
Yeah, man. Well, I guess we'll go into the final, but I'm going to play a video, because this is my response to it, guys. This is the last one. It's last episode for a while. And he did ask for cut first. But this is what Josh said to that option, and this is what I say to this ending.
No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. No. 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 Hell no. 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 I refuse. No. No.
That's right. That's right. No. No. It's over, man. What are we going to do now?
We have something in store.
But wait, there's more?
Yeah.
Do tell.
All right.
No. So thank you so much for jumping on.
Hey.
Yeah. So can you kind of tell the beautiful people out there what exactly we got coming up?
Well, we got some bracket bitches coming up.
Yeah. I chose you to say that word because I felt bad saying it. For
I don't know which one of these two are in charge because I'm not in charge of this one because I don't know shit about the National Football League.
Nose goes, bro. Yeah.
Other than Go Dolphins.
Mine's bigger.
Sorry, Tvshka, we're gonna have to beat you on Saturday. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oof, well, I mean, we'll just maybe apologize after the game, or just save your apology, because we'll see. I think it's going to be a good matchup, but yeah, no, definitely. Josh has plenty of shows going right now, so but yeah, so I'll be taking lead on that. But we're gonna continuing bracket bitches Monday nights, so same timeline. So probably 8:30, 9 o'clock, depending on whenever I have some volunteer organization meetings that I love to go to. But yeah, we're gonna continue on because the party doesn't stop. We can't do that. I mean, we got to keep this going because
this time I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Right, that's right. Oh, the turntables.
Yes.
I can't wait to lose to both of you.
Yeah. I mean, so yeah, we've got.
What if I win again? What's gonna happen if I win again? And this time it's because I don't know shit.
Same thing with March Madness.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I would just be like, well, at least March is around the corner. Yeah. Well, because it is. So I mean, we're gonna be doing the NFL playoffs. Then we got March Madness. Then after that, what? NBA?
Yeah.
Hockey?
NBA.
Baseball? After that too, maybe?
Possibly
baseball's October.
Baseball's October, so we'll figure something there in the middle. Basically, after June, right around June is when you pretty much don't have what they call, as some people call, Mount Rushmore season, because there's just no other major sports going on, no playoffs of any kind. Want that? I mean, Premier League is in the fall too, right? So
it's fall spring.
Fall spring. But again, no playoff of any kind going on in that June to August thing area, because September is when October technically, but I thought that like right at the end of September they might start doing baseball. I always forget my dates mixed up on that, but I know definitely for sure that it's October. That's a big thing.
Yeah, but we'll work out the calendar, folks. But let us know, what do you think? Well, first and foremost, what do you think is going to happen with the NFL? As Solely alluded to, the Chiefs are playing the Dolphins. That's pretty big. That's a divided house right now. On the other side of the bracket, you got Josh with the NFC. Josh, who are you guys playing?
Freaking Packers. One day. I am tired of this. It's not fair. Okay? They go from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers to another confident quarterback. I'm tired of it. This is my year. My whole family of Green Bay Packers fans. This was my year. This was all I had. I've been talking shit to them all damn season. They were 3-6, and now I have to play them again. And the last two times we did this in the playoffs, Dad's caught the damn ball, and then Aaron Rodgers threw a 30-yard rope that the guy barely made inside, and Mason Crosby kicked 2 52-yard field goals in a row and couldn't hit shit the next game. Tired of it.
Oh man, that was good. That was good, dude. I like it. I like that. We may have to mess with that a little bit more, dude. Let the Mabry rants go. Wow, bro.
The thing is, divided house, but we got two people that are Dolphin fans, myself and
we got
Gift
minorities
Taylor. And then we have one that's a Chiefs fan. So, I mean,
but the whole world's really a Chiefs fan. So, yeah. Okay. Well, let me see these two rings that we got recently and see how well that fares. But yeah, no, it's going to be a good match. I think for that one specifically, we're paired pretty evenly in the opposite direction. So you guys have high flying, just fast paced and a really tough offense. And then on the other side, we've got the same. I mean, we've got some shutdown corners that didn't make the Pro Bowl. And Justin Reed definitely deserved it because he shut down pretty much all the top wide receivers. Devontae Adams, for sure with the Raiders and everybody else that we played, really limited them and was a menace to the fantasy football owners of those receivers. But and then on the other side, we're both injured. We're both inept. So it's just going to be that going on.
Do you do a cold tub to make yourself feel better just to go out in the 12-degree weather? Like I don't know if you would do that.
All right. You probably don't want to get wet and then go in the cold. That sounds like
I'm hoping for a repeat
hypothermia
of Mike McDaniel's at the Jets, where the Jets fans were making fun of him because he was standing in front of the heater and he yells, "I'm cold," and then 2 seconds later goes, also, "and winning."
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out. This has been the most entertaining Hard Knocks that I've seen in quite some time. Mike McDaniel and the whole Jets organization, the way that you can tell why they're successful, and unfortunately they can't get over the hump for injury purposes and stuff like that. But you can tell why the Dolphins and Mike McDaniel is going to be a successful coach.
Mm-hmm.
Based off of just from the way the Hard Knocks is done, and that's the same thing with Detroit. Like you can tell, Campbell he's definitely some guy.
Yep. Is weed legal in Florida?
Shit.
I don't remember.
When I saw that we were getting him because he was the offensive coordinator for the 49ers,
mm-hmm.
and I was like, oh, I remember his conferences. He seemed like a funny dude. And the offense for the 49ers is good. I know at least that much. So I'm excited for this.
Yeah. Well, and that's my question, because with McDaniel there, is weed legal in Florida?
Medicinally.
Medicinal? Okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah, because it's like, dude, he's like, yeah, man, we're just going to just go have fun, man. You got to visualize, man. You got to see it. Just do it. I was like, it's so chill. Like, like him and Bill Belichick are like the opposite spectrums of the coaching timbre or, the coaching attitude, basically.
Mm. Yeah. Did anybody see how cold it's going to be in Kansas City? That's wild.
Oh,
thanks, Mike.
God, I'm going to bring my heaters. Stupid.
Yeah. Just like picture him like talking into his ear. It's like Z right, left, Y banana, forward Z on 2.
Why
is probably a lot more clear than Bill Belichick just yelling at you.
Yeah. Or mumbling to you.
Yeah. Like,
all right, we're gonna do this. It's like the football. Yeah, but I love how McDaniel is like basically Ron Burgundy, and everything sounds like he's ending with a question mark in the teleprompter. Is there like 3 wide banana?
yeah.
But yeah, so we're gonna get our picks in, right?
Yeah, everyone get their picks in. So how I know we kind of talked about it briefly. Have we come to DM? I guess with Tvshka, if you can DM Tvshka your picks, because we've tried to find, if anyone knows that's listening it's in the chat or listening or watch this a little bit later before the season the tournament kicks off on Saturday at 4:30. Mm-hmm. We are going to do it. Get in by midnight. So basically Saturday morning. Is that what we kind of deemed on that?
Yeah. So Friday midnight Eastern. So it'd be 9 p.m. on the West Coast. Just go into the Discord in the sports tab. Write your picks all the way to the final.
Oh, okay. So everybody's gonna know and see what everybody else is picking.
Yes.
Okay.
Everyone write those picks down. Now, if we
don't
want
cheat. Think for yourself. Don't copy somebody else's and then change one thing. GIF. Look at you.
But if we want to put our first rounds, if we want to talk about those right now, we can.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, we're at hour 18. Okay, I got time. Let's see. We want to pull up the playoff bracket.
Yeah, I shared it with. I don't know if Sol. Can you bring? Do you have your?
I can share it. Yeah.
Yeah, because I shared that. It was a nice layout. So.
Oh, okay.
That I shared with you there of who.
Well, it's vertical, so it's not that great of a layout.
All right.
Just saying.
Dude, it's the layout. If you can find something better, please do while we go over it.
And you can see our other pictures down here
Yeah.
at the bottom.
Yeah.
Professional. That's what we are.
All right.
Even on the
Josh,
holidays.
you want to go first?
Yeah. I think starting with the NFC, I've got the Bucks. Probably. I don't know. Let me go with the Eagles on that. I'm gonna go with the Lions, and yes, I'm gonna go with the Cowboys. We're due on that as far as the first round.
I feel like you're not doing anything. You got to earn in this league. Just saying.
Yeah, but we are
Also,
due.
thank you for not choosing Tampa.
Yeah, well, they look good, and then I saw their last game against Carolina, and I was like, oh god, they could score only like 9 points for that. I mean, unless something crazy happens, I'm taking the Browns. I'm going to save my pick for Kansas City, Miami here in second, and yeah, I'm going to go with the Bills because the Steelers are just happy to be there on that. And the Bills are playing really well. Now, granted, the Bills unfortunately play to their competition, but they're in Buffalo. It's going to be, hat on hat, just knockout football. Very physical. I don't expect a lot of high scoring. I expect a good amount of interceptions between both quarterbacks because that's what Josh Allen does. He's a gunslinger, and whoever is the quarterback, Mason Rudolph, for example, will still throw to the other team as well because Buffalo is solid on defense. So I'm going to go with that. And
Josh, who do you love more? We are a team.
That's nothing to do with you. It's nothing to do with Tvshka. It's just from what I've seen, I just like the Dolphins at the end of the day. Right now.
Yes.
I do like the Dolphins.
Do you know his bracket history? I wouldn't be cheering so much.
I watch this sport.
Do you? You watch
Yes.
it?
I watch
real
it.
Good? Okay.
Yes. So I the whole time that even with the matchup with the Dolphins going there, they haven't won a playoff game in forever. So I am going to go with the Dolphins here just because Kansas City, I don't think Miami hasn't lost their locker room where there's trouble in River City when it comes to Kansas City right now. Now, that's
okay.
Just is from what I've seen. I mean,
no,
they're just not firing on all cylinders. That being said, in
Is
order to beat
KC known as River City?
No, it's a
Okay.
you just have a river.
it's a Music Man reference, guys. Okay, I quoted Broadway.
I'm proud of you.
Yes.
Yeah,
That is a
heavily.
musical quote. Okay, it's called The Music Man, and he goes, "Now there's trouble in River City."
Yeah.
That's why. So it has nothing to do with where it's playing or anything like that. It's a total different reference. That's just saying that there's trouble in the locker room.
Hey, you got the snort that one.
Yeah.
Tvshka, how about you?
I'm not giving you my picks because this is on the spur of the moment. Look, I'll go through and I won't be held accountable for it.
Okay.
This is not my formal bracket. Also, I'm
We
trying
will
to
agree to
upload a better graphic that's landscape. Who does this? Who does this?
Wow. There you go.
Second. All right. Baltimore, I think they're going to win the next week. They're definitely going to win. I will put $100 million on it.
They're so good, they're not even going to play.
Yeah. Dude, this one, I honestly, I'm excited just to watch these games.
Yeah.
Cleveland and Houston. Houston, kind of tapered off a little bit at the end while Cleveland picked up speed. But at the same time, it's getting colder, but they are going to be playing at a dome. So Flacco's old-ass knees may still prove to be pretty good. But I think it's just that defense. I mean, you just cannot compare. I don't care what offense you have. That Cleveland Browns defense can wreck you. So I think Cleveland on that one. I'm going to take Kansas City, obviously, because I have a brain. And then with Pittsburgh and Buffalo, I hate to do this, but Buffalo's got the heat. But you know what? At the same time, I want the Chiefs to have a tough playoff run because that way we can shut up on the naysayers. Because then no matter what, if you win, people are going to be like, oh, well, you beat an easy team. It's like, no, give us the tough ones then. Let's go. I think Buffalo's going to win that one. That'll be the AFC first round. And then, then on the NFC side, oh, man, I haven't really studied these two enough, honestly. I know Philadelphia is still Philadelphia. But they also lost their OC in DC. They seem like they've missed quite a bit of steps as well. But at the same time, they still have the components there. And they have Swift, who has been, was wrecking it, midseason. Kind of tapered off a little bit, I think, 4 years. Is that right, Josh? That's why you're disappointed in that trade. But my heart wants to go with Tampa Bay. Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans. I mean, that's a hell of a combo right now. And Rashid White, even if he's on your bench, I think he's going to do well. For God bless, this is going to be a great game.
Yes, this
I mean,
one to me.
I mean, it's at Detroit. That place is going to be rocking. I mean, they've set the record for ticket sales, and even that, the amount of how high they were able to sell those tickets, 600 pop or whatever. It's going to be electric, but then at the same time, the Rams have been, but they are going to be without their quarterback, right? Because I don't think Stafford's going to be playing this round. They will have Carson Wentz.
I
think the Lions take this one. They've kind of been the season darling. From the get-go, people were cheering for them to beat the Chiefs when they, kind of saying they would, and when they did, then everybody kind of been on board. Green Bay and Dallas. Yeah. Dallas has been up and down, but they can put it up and they can put it on, and they are at home where they probably still average 35 points a game. They dropped down to 30 now?
Yeah, because they didn't score as much against Detroit.
Yeah, against the last one. Yeah.
But they pretty much, they blow people out by 30. Other than Detroit, they blow people out by 30 at home. And they're undefeated at home.
Yep, and with the refs help too. So, but no.
Excuse you, sir. The refs are awesome. We're not talking about this.
Oh, okay. I'm so sorry. Are you worried about getting fined?
They should have. He should have told him. As far as I know, he didn't tell him.
Oh, okay, sure.
And ready for my very informed,
yes,
super informed picks. Yep. I'm just gonna go straight to the one that obviously is gonna happen. The Dolphins are gonna be KC. Obviously, that's not just in my heart. That's in real life too. We'll see.
Okay, cool. Illusions of grandeur. There's sweet things.
I have to believe. They're my team. Cleveland, Houston. I don't know shit about Houston. I have a friend that lives in Cleveland, although she's not a Cleveland friend because the Browns sucked. I guess they're the city of losers, Cleveland, on multiple fronts. But you know what? I'm gonna go with the city of losers here. So, Cleveland. I guess they took it from us, and I would love to see the Steelers beat Buffalo just because of that last game. But I'm gonna go with Buffalo there. Yeah,
just trying to get to where we can see ourselves too.
Philadelphia, Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Tampa is insufferable when they win. You saw that with the Lightning when they won this. What's the hockey?
Stanley Cup.
Stanley Cup. I thought Stanley Cup, but I didn't want to sound wrong, so that's why I asked. But anyway, so I'm gonna go with Philadelphia because screw Tampa.
Flip, Philadelphia.
I'm gonna bring back something you guys might have heard in the bracket bitches for the MLS from Tvshka and Josh. I'm going against the Hollywood elites.
Yeah. Suck it, Hollywood.
Yeah.
And going with Detroit. And because we are a team, and I was going to do this even if he didn't choose Miami on his side, I'm going to go with Dallas for my partner.
For my sanity, of not having to listen to my family, especially my brother, for the next 365 days. Dallas, for the love of God, win this game. At this point, I don't care if we win the Super Bowl. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with
Just
it.
one win.
I just want to win this game. You don't understand.
Miami just needs one win. Dallas just needs one win, and we'll be happy people.
No, I mean, I do want to win Super Bowl, but just once I saw this matchup, I'm like, no.
Look,
no,
if you
I'm not
guys
gonna-
wanted the one win, you should have beat the Bills. Come on.
I know.
Then we could have played Pittsburgh, and then you guys would have played Buffalo again.
we still
At home.
Dallas still would have been the 2 seed. We still would have played Green Bay, and my life still would be in turmoil right now.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what we did in Buffalo.
It's there. Let's see. In the chats, what do y'all got? Just because they're fans of sub for so long. Oh yeah. Justin says he hopes Detroit wins. Just because they're fans of sub for so long. I'm with you there too. I mean, it was like, really talking with anybody who
Gotta
has like
believe in your team.
Well, because like with the Chiefs, man. I mean, it was such a great run to kind of see them like slowly, like, okay, well, we finally got into playoffs and won a game, because we would always be one and done in playoffs and wild card and all that. And then we finally won the first AFC championship that we have in 30 years, and then to win the Super Bowl. I mean, it was just like this roller coaster. So I want every fan to experience that, because it is something that, I mean, absolutely uplifts the city. Unless you're San Francisco, then you're going to burn the shit out of your town because you're trash.
That's also
Like,
Philadelphia.
Yeah, Philly. Like, I mean, I get it. Okay, maybe tear down a light pole or something because you're hanging on it, but like rioting and like car fires. Like,
Have you ever seen Lexington, Kentucky too? Whenever they win or lose, Lexington's on
Has
on
Lexington
fire
seen
too.
themselves win?
Now, destruction can be a bonding experience because Buffalo jumps through tables.
Okay, yeah, it's bonding only because they actually have to go to the hospital together and sit in the waiting room for 2 hours. Yeah, I'm with you, man. I think you will.
Thoughts here. Obviously, it's not going to happen because the Dolphins are going to win. But if we get another matchup in the second round of KC versus Buffalo, like, how are you and Justin going to fare? Because it's another time that you guys are meeting.
I mean, I know Justin just doesn't want to go to overtime.
No,
I know that much. That is not Josh Allen's friend. Overtime there.
He's going to pay off Kadarius Toney to line up off sides again.
Yeah, but in the technical sense, though, if that does happen, Buffalo does have the number 2 seed, so it would be in Buffalo, and the Chiefs would play their first away game in the last 5 years. Patrick Mahomes has never played an away playoff game. He's always played at home.
Yep.
Yeah. So, which hey, that's cool to say, but at the same time, it's like, let's hurry up and play some away games and win, so we can just get that little monkey off of our back, and the media doesn't have to chirp about that all the time.
Yeah.
But
typically, Tvshka would want Pittsburgh and then Cleveland or Houston one to beat Baltimore. That way, Patrick Mahomes still plays at home throughout his whole NFL career.
I mean, we could solve the problem for Mahomes by the Dolphins just beating them, so that way he's still only ever played home.
Right? You're not wrong. It would technically work. But no. But also, what would really help out if I don't know, maybe if we won another goddamn game during the season, maybe let's do that next time, guys. Let's open up the playbook a bit more. But yeah, man. I think that's good. Anybody else got anything else on this?
Other than that, as far as brackets are concerned, shout out, congratulations, the University of Michigan. They just won the national title. For those who didn't know, so there you go. They're football champions. Therefore, Jim Harbaugh is going to run off into the sunset to Southern California to the Los Angeles Chargers. That's who I think he's going to go to now. He did what he said he was going to do when he went to Michigan. He's wanting to go to the NFL. I don't think Michigan people will have. Yes.
Yep. Yeah.
Shout out Lamar.
Do you like Lamar? I'm not sure.
He's only my second favorite football player of all time. So
it's the first time I've heard that.
Yeah.
Weird. Yeah. Emmitt Smith being the first.
There you go. So, People listen to me. Oh my god.
Sorry, what'd you say?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Well, hey, Josh. So thank you guys so much. So thank you so much for being in the background and helping us throughout the season with the fantasy fuck around. Josh, man, thank you so much for being a co-host on this and guiding the ship, bringing all the goodness and facts. But you guys in the chats, thank you so much for joining tonight and throughout the whole season. Even though this is the last episode until probably maybe like August, because we'll start kind of getting gearing things up for the next league. And if you do want to play in the league with us, let us know. We're looking to get to 12 teams this year, at least. We may look a little bit more, but yeah, let us know. And also, if you want to join the Ruckus, you can at patreon.com/RuckusEV, or you can also follow the link below that we're going to add and join the Discord. The Discord is going to be open season for everybody. So we want to see you guys in there. Don't get easily offended, please, because we do get a little bit ridiculous. But if you're watching this, you probably know a little bit of what to expect. But thank you guys so much. And if you do want to support us financially, you can go to streamlabs.com/RuckusEV/tips. For Sol and Josh, I'm Tvshka. Y'all take care. Peace. The last one. Josh is punky, but he got the shit trophy.